Hey, it's Scott once again, and yeah, I'm still on that hike that I've been on the last couple weeks. All right, I've not been on a hike for the last couple weeks, but the last couple weeks of these video posts, I've been on this hike that I'm on today, and I'm making my way back to the car, and thought I'd do one more of these videos from this little hike. So today I want to talk about a concept that it just hit me the other day. It's something I've thought about for years, and it's this: your opponents that you play against, they're not the enemy. I've heard my share of coaches use words like, the enemy and war, going to war and doing all those types of things, and I get it. We're trying to motivate our kids to, give everything they've got and perform the best that they can and be tough and be strong. I totally get that. But, and so, the war and the battle and those types of metaphors are fine, I guess. But I always struggle when coaches talk about the opponent being the enemy. They're not an enemy. In fact, they are necessary to the entire experience. Because without an opponent there, who are you going to compete against? And we get into in a second who I really believe you're competing against more than anybody, but you need them. They are so important to the entire experience that we have. And so, we don't want to call them the enemy. They are worthy adversaries. They are maybe standing in the way of some of your goals and that type of thing, but they're not the enemy. And so let's make sure that we kind of take that terminology out of our vocabulary. But they are an opponent, and they are, somebody that we are against whom we're competing. However, I truly believe that our biggest, most important, I don't even know if it's opponent, but the thing that we compete against the most is ourselves. And we've said for years, tried to get kids to understand, to compete against a vision of your best self. And what's the best we can be? What's our potential? Who could we become? That's what we want to compete against. And when you compete against that type of a vision, when you compete against that, as opposed to the opponent who's on your schedule, ultimately it doesn't matter who's on your schedule. You don't have control over who shows up at your gym, your field, or where your bus takes you. You don't have control over who they are, what they're like, how big, fast, strong, etc. they are. All you have control over is you and your preparation and how you handle it. And so ultimately, if you will focus on competing against a vision of your best self, then you're always prepared for whoever walks through that door. You're going to have nights where your talent level is not going to be as good as the talent level of the teams you're competing against, the people you compete against. You're going to have nights where you're far superior to them. How about we focus on us? Yes, you're going to want to do some specific things to prepare for specific things that your opponent does. But overall, focus more on you as opposed to them. How's it going?
Good, thanks.
Is when you do that, then you control your controllables. You don't have control over external forces and outside influences and your opponents, the physical opponent against whom you're playing. But you do have control over how you get ready for that competition. So anyway, they're not the enemy. You need them. Make sure you enjoy them, respect them, and enjoy the fact that you get to compete against them whenever you get to compete against them. Hope you like this idea. Scroll down, leave me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about that concept. You ever heard people talk about your opponents as the enemy? Now when you do, it might, I don't know if it'll give you a different idea, but it certainly might pop in your head. Oh yeah, that's what Scott was talking about. So, all right, well, enjoy. We'll talk to you next week, probably from my office, but who knows where.